Hey everyone, you may be wondering, now that the US government has officially established a strategic Bitcoin reserve and has officially snubbed the other crypto stuff that Donald Trump had tweeted about on Sunday morning, why isn't the other stuff that Donald Trump tweeted about totally in the toilet? And the answer is, I don't know, because people have an almost unlimited ability to be irrational. Now, they might be more in the toilet than I realize, because when I compare anything, I compare it in terms of Bitcoin. So when I check the price of Solana or Cardano or Ethereum or what was the other one? XRP, the scam token XRP, I'm always comparing them to as priced in Bitcoin, not as priced in US dollars. So maybe I'm not exactly accurate, but most of those have held up pretty well, which is shocking, because what the US government officially communicated is that the right side to be on those tokens is as a seller, not a buyer. So the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve was set up yesterday. It was announced and signed into law with the executive order yesterday. And the executive order said the U.S. government will keep and buy Bitcoin, but it will only keep or sell these other assets. You would think they would drop through the floor. Now, it makes all the sense in the world, because what the U.S. government is communicating, one second here. What the U.S. government is communicating is that they intend to do exactly what the inventors of this token did, of each token did. So, for example, the Ethereum Foundation invents Ethereum. They issue a bunch of it to themselves, and they've been selling their part of it ever since. It's their source of income. They issued the currency out of thin air. They slowly dump it on the market, not so much that it crashes the price, but they just slowly dump it on the market, and that's how they make huge amounts of money. Same with Cardano. Cardano issued themselves their own token, and they're dumping it on the people dumb enough to buy it. Same with XRP. They issued themselves 100% of all 100 billion tokens, and they have been dumping the tokens they own on the unsuspecting public ever since. And same with Solana, with the Solana Foundation, or whatever the entity is that runs Solana. So all of those entities only sell their token. They never buy their token. And they never buy it because they don't have to, because they issued their token to themselves from the beginning. And so why would you buy a token that you can make up out of thin air? Obviously, Bitcoin is different. No one has ever made up Bitcoin out of thin air. Even the very first Bitcoin miners had to expend computational power and electricity to mine the first Bitcoin. Now, back then it was super cheap, but it doesn't matter if it was super cheap. Anyone in the world could have run the Bitcoin software on their own computer. Anyone could have mined Bitcoin back in 2009. Anyone could have gotten the Bitcoin for the price of electricity. However much it cost them to run their computer hot with all the fans on full blast, because that's what happens if you run a Bitcoin mining software back in the day on a personal computer. It would basically max out the computer, because the computer was working really hard to try to mine new Bitcoin. So most people just turned it off because it was made their computer run hot. But if you were willing to let your computer run hot, you could mine Bitcoin. And every day or every week or every month, you might get 50 Bitcoin. And then it obviously got way more competitive, and it got way harder. And then eventually it got so hard that no normal person could ever mine Bitcoin with their personal computer. And now it's even almost impossible to mine Bitcoin with at-home dedicated Bitcoin mining rigs, because like the one I have at home is the chances of it winning a block, which now, instead of 50 Bitcoins, it only has 3.125 Bitcoins, because it drops in half every 4 years. The probability of my at-home Bitcoin miner that does 1 trillion computations per second, the chances of my miner finding a block once every 10 minutes is 1 in a billion. Literally 1 in a billion, which means I will find a block about every 15,000 years. So back then, you could mine with your personal computer. Now you almost can't even mine with dedicated, specialized Bitcoin mining hardware that is the latest and greatest, which you can buy for $200 or something like that, which is, I have a couple of those at home. So anyway, but everybody who owns Bitcoin worked for it. They either mined it by expending computational power and electricity, or they paid someone who did. Nobody in the world of Bitcoin got Bitcoin for free. Not even Satoshi Nakamoto, who invented Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that people believe he mined it free and fair on the open market with everyone else. He was running his computer mining Bitcoin like everyone else. Not only that, but in the case of Bitcoin, one second. Early on, Bitcoin had a feature where you could mine it with a dual core processor. And the inventor of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, actually had a dual core processor on his computer, and he could have turned it on where his computer mined twice as much Bitcoin, but he didn't. He did not turn it on, so he voluntarily was mining half as much Bitcoin as he could have because he kept the ability to turn on that second CPU power just in case he needed it, in case he needed it to fix something in the network very early on. But he actually did not want to mine a lot of Bitcoin for himself. He wanted to get the network bootstrapped and everybody have an opportunity. So even Satoshi Nakamoto did not even mine Bitcoin as efficiently as he could have. He did it the slow way, and reserved the ability to use multi-core processors in case of emergency. And then ultimately that became irrelevant and everybody started mining it with all sorts of stuff, which was the point. So even the inventor of Bitcoin, not only did he not issue himself tokens for free, the ones he did mine, he mined fair and square, and he mined them fair and square without benefiting from any shortcuts that he even had access to. So that is why, fast forward 16 years, the United States government says we are putting Bitcoin in a strategic Bitcoin reserve. It's not unfair to anyone to do that because it's not like you're artificially benefiting the inventors of Solana or Cardano or Ethereum or XRP. You're not unfairly benefiting the people who issued those tokens to themselves for free because the US government is not going to buy any of those tokens. It will only sell those tokens, which will make the prices go down. The only thing it will buy as far as a digital asset is Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is in the strategic Bitcoin reserve. It is not a strategic crypto reserve. It is a strategic Bitcoin reserve that only has Bitcoin in it. But that does not unfairly benefit anybody because 100% of the people who own Bitcoin worked for it or traded something else for it, like US dollars. So everyone who owns Bitcoin had an equal shot of having Bitcoin. Everyone in the entire world back in 2009 could have gone to bitcoin.org, downloaded the software, and run it on their computer. It was wide open for the world to see. Everyone in the world had the same opportunity to mine Bitcoin in the early days. Now, most people didn't because they didn't think it was real. They didn't think it would be worth anything. And, as much work as Satoshi Nakamoto put into trying to publicize Bitcoin, the original inventors of Bitcoin did a ton of work promoting Bitcoin and trying to get people to adopt it. Even so, it was really slow because most people just are not interested in learning new things or innovative new monetary systems. That's just not something on the top of most people's list of what they're focused on. So everybody who owns Bitcoin got it fair and square. Everybody who owns, or a lot of people who own Ethereum or Cardano or XRP or whatever the other one was, Cardano, Solana, XRP, and Ethereum. There you go, the four others that Donald Trump had tweeted about on Sunday, they are not getting any special benefits. So I don't know why the prices of this junk tokens are not like totally in the toilet. I don't know. People appear to be too dumb to realize that these tokens are junk or that they were officially snubbed by the US government. Like, I don't know why anybody thinks these things have value when the US government just communicated that they would only be a seller and never a buyer of these things. Now, Ethereum has been slowly marching towards zero over many years now, so it continues to slowly march towards zero. But some of these other tokens, they should be down 50%, 75%, at least 20%, and somebody's still buying them. I just don't know who these people are. It's crazy. Probably the dumbest one of all, which is actually up a little bit, is something called Bitcoin Cash, BCH. So the real Bitcoin is Bitcoin BTC, but there's a knockoff that called BCH, and it's been slowly trending towards zero for years and years and years now. Since it was invented, it has lost 99.7% of its value, 99.7. But as of the last week or two, it's only down compared to Bitcoin 99.5. Which is actually up because if you were trending all the way down to 99.7% down and now you're only 99.5% down, then that means you're up compared to Bitcoin. Now, who on the planet is buying BCH, Bitcoin Cash? All I can figure is that people think the U.S. government is so dumb that they're accidentally going to buy the wrong one. Like, give me a break. The U.S. government is not going to accidentally buy BCH instead of BTC. Like, that's just the dumbest thing on the planet. So I have no idea what these people are thinking that are buying these bizarre, wonky, worthless tokens that got invented out of thin air, or that just don't, have anything close to the security or the, immutability, sovereignty of Bitcoin. Like, I don't know why anybody's buying this stuff, but somebody's buying it, because otherwise the prices would be completely in the toilet, and they're only somewhat in the toilet. But all this stuff eventually trends to zero against Bitcoin, because it doesn't have the monetary properties of Bitcoin, and it doesn't have the utility of Bitcoin. So anyway, I don't know who's buying this stuff, but people apparently are dumb enough to buy about almost anything, because people are still buying XRP. It boggles the mind. And people apparently are still buying BCH, even though it was never even mentioned by Donald Trump or anybody. And again, all I can figure is that they think maybe the U.S. government's so dumb they'll actually buy the wrong one. Like, I can't fathom how these people think. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, have a great day, everyone, and buy only Bitcoin, BTC, the real Bitcoin, BTC. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks.